That'll take a second. Genesis 11, there's a little... Genesis 11 in this anthology has a little snippet. It is nominally the Tower of Babel story. It's a little thing. It's cute. It's catchy. It's easy to pass by, but it's easy to remember. It's a neat little parable. Excuse me. This is my book up there with some of my scribbles. For those of you who don't have it in front of you, but I'm glad to see most of you seem to. And all the earth was one language, one set of words. And it happened as they journeyed from the east that they found a valley. First of all, they in this is whom? The Israelites. The tribe of the Israelites. And it happened as they journeyed from the east that they found the valley in the land of Shinar and settled there. And they said to each other, "Come, let us bake bricks and burn them hard." And the bricks served them as stone, and bitumen served them as mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build us a city with it and a tower with its top in the heavens, that we may make us a name, lest we be scattered all over the earth." And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower and the human creatures that the human creatures had built. And the Lord said, "As one people with one language for all, if this is what they have begun to do, now nothing they plot to do will elude them. Come, let us go down and baffle their language, so that they will not understand each other's language." And the Lord scattered them from there over the earth, and they left off building the city. Therefore it is called Babel, and there the Lord made them language of all the earth, Babel. And from there the Lord scattered them all over the earth. What's going on here? What is freaky about this story? Well, here's an example of a word I believe I've dropped in the past. Etiology, which is a kind of after-the-fact explanation of how things came to be. Why do people speak different languages? Well, maybe one day they all spoke the same, and that pissed God off in some way, so he made everybody speak different languages. Boom. Genesis 11. But it's got some other interesting stuff going on here. And they said, "Come, let us build us a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, that we may call us a name, lest we be scattered all over the earth." This is God putting limits on humankind. Because, well, why does God say he doesn't want them to do this? He didn't just wake up one day and say, "I don't like that everybody speaks the same language. I would rather have a multicultural world, so let's diversify." That's not what the text says. Not a bad thought, but it's not here. As one people with one language for all, this is what they have begun to do. This is what they have begun to do. Build a city with its top in the heavens. Now nothing they plot will elude them. God's saying, hey, Pump the brakes, people. I made you. I gave you earth. And now you're looking to pierce my territory. It's top in the heavens, which for the ancient world, I have to believe, is towering up to maybe 3 stories. I will recall for you the earlier chapters of Genesis when God regarded Abel the shepherd and accepted his offering, and God disregarded Cain the farmer and disregarded Cain's offering. And Cain felt very rejected by this, and he went out and he killed his brother. Cain was a farmer. The farmers in the ancient world essentially built the first cities. The old model for farming in this world, I'll just leave it, it'll get up here. The old model for farming was everybody would sleep in the same area, and then in the morning they go out, spread around that area, and they would have different fields in different areas, and everyone would supposedly respect. Okay, that area over there, that's Ted's. So that collective living arrangement was the first city. And it is, according to the Bible, a son of Cain who then goes on to found the first official city. So here we see God taking direct action, not only, disregarding Cain in this loose connection with city life, but now we see God saying, I am not only going to disregard cities, not reward people who live in them, I'm going to actively oppose them. I am going to cut them down. Why? Why? For some reason, God doesn't like city folk. For some reason, God sees it as a challenge. Build us a city with a tower with its top in the heavens. It is literally encroaching on his territory. He apparently sees it as a challenge or even a threat. They see it as that we may make us a name. Make us a name? What does that mean? Fame? Maybe? Maybe that it will set us apart? Perhaps. Again, it seems like almost a challenge to God, an identity independent of God. So, God frustrates that effort in a very clever way, and a kind of a funny way, to be perfectly honest. It says, okay, now everybody speaks a different language. This is after the whole Noah story, so he's already done the whole, I'm going to destroy the earth and all humanity on it. He's done that. Now he's getting creative. And it's sort of funny. He's almost trolling them. He's saying, all right, you want to build a city? Try to do it when you can't talk to one another. It's only through that collective cooperation that they can do that. If the lead engineer can't speak to the foreman at the site, nothing gets done. God is taking a very dim view of cities. He doesn't want people coming together to do things. People from different areas coming together to do things. And here I'm going to go back to my stress on division in Genesis. The ancient Israelites were a tribal people. They kept to themselves. They identified themselves as different from everybody else. And they saw this as it's a survival technique. You stay away from other people because, they could be a threat. They could be a physical threat. They could come over and, when you're wandering around the desert, you see a stranger on the horizon, you're a few dozen people, a lot of older people, a lot of kids, a lot of women, you're vulnerable. So you stay close together, you stay tight, and you stay away from strangers. But it's not just physical violence that they're concerned with. They are identifying themselves very strictly with this tribal community. That stranger on the hill might be packing more than a weapon. He might have ideas, different ideas about something. That's dangerous. In a tribal world, you like your ideas. You don't like anybody else's. They're strangers. They're foreigners. They do things weird. The coherence of the Israelite civilization is based on distinction, on staying away from one another. Well, staying away from strangers and clinging very tightly to everyone within your tribe. This is another story where God reinforces that vision, where the text itself, the story, and again, it's a very basic story. There's not a lot of complicated details in there. It's something that, parents or grandparents can tell the kids. Say, you want to know how to live in life? Well, let me tell you. Little stories that just stick in the head. And again, it's sort of funny. A little humor goes a long way in making it memorable. But division, distinction, taking a group of people and saying, keep among yourselves. You guys, you speak this language, so that's a good ordering principle. Yeah, just stick among your own kind. These people over here, they're going to stick with their language. They're going to stick among their own kind. It's God's way. Bear that in mind. Cities. It's a recurrent theme. Cities are bad.